Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we are going to discuss the elements of ensemble theory. First of all, let's see why we need an ensemble, and then we will look at the ensemble. We have studied, we have seen in the previous classes that a given system which is specified by the macroscopic parameters energy, volume, number of particles. Okay, for the time being we are specifying the macroscopic parameters of the system, the energy, number of particles, volume, where the energy can fluctuate in a very narrow range. And we now assume that energy is fixed, its value is E, volume V, number of particles N, and at any time t, the system, this macro state, the system in this macro state is equally likely to be in any one of extremely large number of distinct microstates. For a given macro state, we know there are very large number of microstates, the different ways of having the same macrostates. Each of these ways is a microstate, and for a given macrostate there are very large number of microstates. Okay, and it is equally likely, the postulate of equal a priori probability, at any time t the system is equally likely to be in any one of the large number of microstates. Okay, now as time passes, the system continually switch from one microstate to another. Okay, it has to switch, it has to change from one microstate to another, because the system is equally likely to be in any one of the microstates. So given system cannot remain in a microstate, in a particular microstate, because all these microstates have equal probability. So the system will be continually switching from one microstate to another. Okay, this is a very important point, and this happens very quickly, very fast switching happens, and it is of the order of, we may say a microsecond or even smaller than it. So it very quickly it passes through all the microstates. So as it switches over a reasonable span of time, say 1 second or 1 millisecond, over a reasonable span of time, what one observes is behavior averaged over variety of microstates through which the system passes. So if we try to measure some property of the system, okay, the time span in which we are measuring, it may be a millisecond. So in that millisecond time interval, our system would have passed through all the microstates. It would have switched through all the microstates of the system. So what we observe in the time span of measuring some quantity is the average over, actually it is the average over all the microstates of the system through which the system passes. Okay, so this is an important idea. So when we make a measurement on a physical system, the quantity that you get is actually time average of all the possible microstates of the system, because in that time interval, however small it may be, the system would have passed through all the microstates. Okay, so what we do is, for theoretical calculations, what we do is, at a single instant of time we consider a large number of systems. Okay, so at a particular instant of time we consider a large number of systems, all being mental copies of the given system. Okay, so instead of a single system, what we are considering is large number of systems which are mental copies of the systems. Okay, identical systems which are the same macro state. Okay, so which are characterized by the same macro state as the original system EVN, but are in all sorts of the possible microstates. Okay, so for the theoretical calculations, what we do is we imagine a large number of mental copies of the given system which are characterized by the same macro state as the original system, but in all sorts of possible microstates. Okay, for example, this is a very oversimplified example. Suppose we have a system having macro state EVN, and suppose that the number of microstates is just 20. Okay, this is just an example. Actually, we know a given system would have very large number of microstates. Okay, very large number of microstates, but here we assume that the system has only 20 microstates. Then what we do is, as we try to make some measurement on this system, observe some physical quantity related with the system, during the time span of measurement, the system will pass through all these 20 microstates. Okay, it will pass through all these 20 microstates, and what we are getting is average over these 20 microstates, average of that physical quantity over these 20 microstates. So that is the measuring quantity, or what we observe, or when we try to measure. Now for theoretical calculations, what we do is we consider 20 systems. Here we have 20 microstates, so we consider 20 systems, identical systems. Their macrostates are same. Okay, all of them have the same macrostates, but the microstates are different. Okay, so to make the theoretical calculation, we first calculate the physical quantity in this microstate, and then in this microstate, and then in this microstate. That way we calculate the physical quantity in all these 20 microstates, and then we take the average. Okay, and then we take the average, and that average will be equal to the time average. As we measure some quantity over this single system, we will be getting time average, and that time average, that will be equal to the average over these systems which are in. So as you measure some physical observable, some quantity related with this system, as I told earlier, the system will be quickly passing through all these microstates. So what you get is the time averaged behavior of the system. So what we do is we consider the system, and along with a large number of, or in this case a 20 number of systems which are in all sorts of the microstates. So as we take the average of some quantity related with the system over this collection of systems which are in all possible microstates, that will be equal to the measured or the time averaged quantity. Okay, so it is by using this idea we develop the ensemble theory. So under ordinary circumstances, what we expect is the average behavior of any system in this collection, which we call as ensemble. So this collection of systems is called ensemble. That would be identical to the time averaged behavior of the given system. Okay, so the ensemble average or the average behavior of the systems in this collection, that will be equal to, identical to the time averaged behavior of the given system. So it is on this basis, or it is on this expectation, that we develop the ensemble theory. So why we have ensemble theory? Because as we take a measurement on a system, the value that we get is average over all possible microstates. So to get that result, identical result, what we do is we consider a given system along with a large number of mental copies of it, and the average over that ensemble, that collection of systems, that will be identical to the measured behavior or the time average behavior of the system. So we discussed about ensemble. Ensemble is a given system along with a large number of mental copies of the system, which are characterized by the same macrostate as the original system, but in all sorts of possible microstates. Okay, so in the ensemble, the systems are in all sorts of different possible microstates of the system. So how do we represent an ensemble in phase space? Okay, in the last class we saw how we represent a state of the system, a microstate of the system in phase space. Phase space is a 6n dimensional one, 3n position coordinates and 3n momentum coordinates, and it is represented by a point in the phase space, and this point actually, it does not stay fixed in the phase space, it will move through the phase space because of the equations of motion. Okay, qi and pi both are changing continually, so the representative point or the phase point will move through the phase space or the allowed region of the phase space. So anyway, microstate of the system is represented by a point in the 6n dimensional phase space. Now what we have is an ensemble, which are in all sorts of ensemble of systems which are in all sorts of possible microstates. So in the phase space, the corresponding picture will consist of a swarm of representative points. Okay, a swarm is a huge collection of representative points, one for each member of the ensemble. So for each member of the ensemble, we have a representative point in the phase space. Okay, so that will actually consist of a swarm of representative points, one for each member of the ensemble, all lying within the allowed region of the phase space. So this is the allowed region of the phase space. We consider a hypershell, the inner boundary, that is for energy E minus delta by 2, the outer boundary is for E plus delta by 2. So this is the allowed region of the phase space. So each system which is in a given microstate, that is represented as a point in the. So this is how we represent an ensemble in the phase space. So this can be assumed to be a dust of or a cloud of dust particles. Okay, just like we have clouds in the sky which consists of water particles, we are assuming that we have dust particles, a cloud of dust particles, and as clouds move in the sky, these dust particles also, this cloud of dust particles also move in the phase space. Okay, we know each of these point, each of the representative point, that will be moving through the phase space, through the allowed region of the phase space. So we have a cloud of dust particles. Each dust particle is a representative point, a phase point of a system in the ensemble. Okay. Now as time passes, as I said, as time passes, every member of the ensemble undergoes a continual change of microstates. So each member of the ensemble will be continuously changing its microstates. So don't think each system in the ensemble will be in a particular microstate. It will be continuous. Each of the systems will be changing the microstates. So at any time, these systems will be in different microstates. Okay, so the representative points constituting this swarm or this cloud of dust particles continually move along their respective trajectories. Okay, so these cloud of dust particles will be actually moving through the phase space. So this cloud of dust particles moves through the phase space. Now this overall picture of this movement can be represented by, or it can be illustrated in terms of a density function, which is a function of p, q and t. So we are defining a density function, which is a function of p, q and t, the position, momentum coordinates and time. Okay, so what is density function? As the word indicates, it is the number of representative points per unit volume. It is the number of representative points per unit volume in the phase space. Suppose we take a small volume element d3 and q, d3 and p around a point qp in the phase space. So in the phase space I am taking small volume element d3 and q, d3 and p. The number of representative points in this volume element, that is given by the density function multiplied with the volume of that volume element d3 and q, d3 and p. So this 3n, this actually denotes a dimension. The position is 3n dimensional, momentum is 3n dimensional. So this gives you the number of representative points in the in a region at a point qp around or in a region d3 and q, d3 and p volume. Okay, so rho of p, q and t actually symbolizes the manner in which the members of the ensemble are distributed over the different microstates. So this gives you an idea in which how the different systems in the ensemble, how they are distributed over the all possible microstates at different instants of time. Okay, so all these ensembles, they will be in different microstates and they will be continually changing their microstates. Okay, so this rho p, q, t, that shows how the members of the ensemble are distributed over all possible microstates at different instants of time. Okay, so rho p, q, t, the density function, that is an important quantity which is used to represent the ensemble in the phase space. Now suppose I take ensemble average. Okay, I am taking ensemble average of a given physical quantity f of qp. This is the quantity I am taking ensemble average. I earlier explained how we take the ensemble average. We take or we calculate the value of this function f of qp in each of the systems in the ensemble and then take the average of it. Okay, so ensemble average which may be different for this f of qp is different for different systems. That is given by this expression integral f of qp rho p qt d3 and q, d3 and p over integral rho p qt d3 and q, d3 and p. We know this is giving you the number of microstates in this small volume element d3 and q, d3 and p. Okay, so as we take the integral, you will get the total number of microstates of the system or the total number of systems in the ensemble. So this is actually the total number of systems in the ensemble. Okay, and here what we are doing is we take a small number of systems in the volume element d3 and q, d3 and p. For that we take f of qp. Okay, we imagine that in this volume element for all these systems f of qp has the same value. Okay, and then we average over all systems in the ensemble. So we get the ensemble average. So this is how we take the ensemble average using the density function. Now we have a stationary ensemble. We always consider stationary ensemble. What is a stationary ensemble? An ensemble is said to be stationary if rho does not explicitly depend on time. Okay, if rho does not explicitly depend on time, we say it is a stationary ensemble. We know rho is a function of q, p and t. If rho does not explicitly depend on time, that is rho is just a function of q and p. Q and P we know that changes with time, that we know. So rho indirectly depends on time, but explicitly there is no dependence on time. That is, rho is a function of Q and P only. Okay, in that case, when we take the partial derivative of rho with respect to time, that will be equal to 0. Okay, so clearly for such an ensemble, the average value of the physical quantity, that will be independent of time. So when you take the ensemble average, if rho does not depend on time, this ensemble average calculated, that will not vary with time. Okay, this will not vary with time. Okay, so we say the corresponding physical quantity will be independent of time. Such a so a stationary ensemble represents system in equilibrium. When a system is in equilibrium, if you take average of some, if you measure some quantity, which is actually the ensemble average. If you measure some quantity, which is actually the ensemble average, the theoretically calculated value, if the system is in equilibrium, that quantity will not change. Okay, that quantity will remain fixed. If the system is not in equilibrium, the quantity will be actually changing over time, because system is trying to reach to the equilibrium. It is in non-equilibrium state. It will be continuously changing, but once it is in equilibrium, if you measure some quantity, that will remain fixed over time. Okay, so here we saw if the rho is independent of time, the average of the ensemble average of a quantity, that will be independent of time. So that means it represents a system in equilibrium. Okay, so a stationary ensemble represents a system in equilibrium.